Hey, thanks for making it Veterans Info Tep. I'm glad you made it. Hey, I saw a headline. I had to share it with you. I didn't even read the article yet. Going to read it with you. And it's the headline that caught my attention. And I thought, let's dive into this and see. And look, here's the bottom line. Sometimes headlines are just to make us click, right? And get in there and look at it. So I don't know. Let's find out what kind of truth is in this, or if they're kind of just blowing smoke. So this is from the federaltimes.com and by Michael Embrick. On September 14th is when this article came out. The headline here is Ramaswamy's plan to fire 300,000 veterans is reprehensible. It's getting close to election time, and people are posturing on both sides, and things that people say will be twisted and things that people say will be amplified. So I don't know. I didn't watch. I didn't hear. I didn't see what he said. So I'm just reading it here in this article, and let's see if we could kind of uncover what's happening. So again, the headline: Ramaswamy's plan to fire 300,000 veterans is reprehensible. Let's find out what he's talking about in this article here. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. It's better to have knowledge than not, right? Let's move on. The proposal by Republican presidential candidate Ramaswamy is to drastically reduce the federal workforce, and it's alarming, not just for its potential effects on the efficiency of the government operations, but for the impact it would have on one of the nation's most revered groups, our veterans. Ramaswamy said he wants to cut 1 million federal jobs, and roughly 30% of federal employees are veterans. So that's how they're coming up with the figures. So he wants to cut 1 million federal jobs, and then they're saying that roughly 30% of all federal employees are veterans, so therefore that would be 300,000 veterans. So that's how they're coming up with that as the title. So instead of saying that he wants to cut 1 million federal jobs, they're saying he wants to end 300,000 veteran jobs. All right, so let's move on. These are individuals who, so all of a sudden the article doesn't care about the other, 700,000 people. They just care about the 30,000, which is cool. I mean, I'm a veteran, so I get it. But let's jump back into this. These are individuals who, after serving their country in the military, decided to continue their service in a civilian capacity. They bring unparalleled dedication, discipline, and skill sets that are often not found in the private sector. When we talk about cutting federal employees, we're talking about cutting opportunities for veterans, reducing their livelihoods, and potentially leaving many without jobs. Mr. Ramaswamy's rationale for such a decision is based on trimming managerial bureaucracies and shutting down toxic government agencies. But are these drastic measures truly a solution, or are they merely a way to garner votes through shock value? Sure, it's worth noting that many of these employees might be eligible for retirement in upcoming years, but retirement eligibility doesn't necessarily translate to a desire or financial capacity or capability to retire. For many veterans, their federal job is not just a paycheck, but a continuation of their service, a sense of purpose, and a way to transition back into civilian life. By potentially forcing early retirement or job loss, we are disregarding the very people who dedicated their lives to our country. Furthermore, it's essential to recognize that a well-functioning government relies on the skills and expertise of its employees. By suggesting a 50% reduction in federal employees within a year and 75% within 4 years, Mr. Ramaswamy is essentially advocating for a skeletal government, unable to perform its fundamental functions. This is not merely about cutting bureaucracy, it's about dismantling the very infrastructure that keeps our nation running. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, similar sentiments echo the seemingly growing sentiment among some GOP members, but the question we must ask is at what cost? Cutting jobs, especially in the midst of an ongoing economic recovery, is not a move that should be taken lightly. We have a responsibility to consider the broader societal implications, not just the short-term political gains. Our veterans who have already given so much should not have to pay the price for hasty political decisions. Let's prioritize real solutions such as retraining and better allocating of resources rather than drastic cuts that impact our heroes. For a country that prides itself on supporting veterans, cutting their jobs should never be the answer. And Michael Embrecht is a veteran, former member of the Secretary of Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee on the Readjustment of Veterans, and former congressional staffer. All right, so that concludes that opinion piece, I believe it was. Yeah, opinions, it's under opinions. So, I don't know. You know, it's... It is what it is, I guess. I'm kind of, with this article, you know, I guess I'm a little bit put off is why I'm acting this way right now. I'm a little bit put off that the focus was put on veterans. I feel, even though this guy's a veteran, I kind of feel like the word veterans and us as a group were used. And that's not the first time, right? We get used on all kinds of things. So I feel like there was a way to go, oh, it's, you know, protect the veterans. This is hurting all the veterans. But really it's the veterans are a smaller piece, right? So it's a 30%. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, there was 1 million federal jobs that were being, I guess, earmarked in this conversation or in this article. So Ramaswamy said he wants to cut 1 million federal jobs, and roughly 30% of federal employees are veterans. So there's 700,000 other people affected. So, okay, fine. Instead of cutting 1 million jobs, cut 700,000. And don't fire any veterans. They're all exempt. How about that? Is the argument still there then? Right? So I think that he still has the argument, or he would still have his argument on, you know, a well-functioning government and blah, 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 and, you know, making sure and this and that. So I think that he would still say the same things. It's just that now he wouldn't have the 30% or 300,000 veterans as the crutch to the story. When you kick that crutch out, he would just have to find a different way to spin it. So I don't know. I'm a little put off with, I don't know. I don't like feeling used is really, I guess, what it is. And I feel, as a veteran, a little bit used in the way that this was I guess, put out there. So anyway, wanted to share it with you, bring it to your attention. Give me your thoughts. I appreciate it. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.